I was just looking at some national championship odds for this coming football season. Where does Georgia fall on that list? Well, right behind Alabama. Alabama has plus 200 odds to win this coming college football playoff national championship. And BetMGM gave Georgia the second best odds at plus 300, followed by Ohio State, Clemson. We'll get into this list. And you know what Georgia winning another national championship would mean? It would mean you'd get another book like DAWGSTRUCTION, our insider book, our insider piece on the 2021 national championship run for the Georgia Bulldogs. And if you get this book right now, you get a copy of our insider preview magazine for the 2022 season free. You can also get this magazine separately. It's got stories about Jalen Carter, Eric Gilbert, Brock Bowers. It's really cool, guys. You're going to want to check it out. Make sure you're checking both of those out. Links down below. Had to plug it. Let's get into these odds. Bama plus 200. Georgia plus 300. Ohio State plus 600. Clemson plus 1,200. I'm looking the other way. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here, by the way. Texas A&M plus 2,000. Michigan plus 3,500. Oklahoma plus 3,500. USC plus 3,500. They got snuck in there. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team in year one under Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. We'll see about that. LSU plus 400. Florida plus 500. Notre Dame plus 500. Oregon. So it gets down to teams that we're just pretty certain aren't going to win the national championship. It comes down to Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State for me looking ahead. Now, this season hasn't even begun. I know you guys are excited. There's like seven more Saturdays until college football. I am amped. I'm stoked. We've been talking about the season so much. We've been talking about the national championship so much this past year. I'm ready for this coming season. I'm ready to get back between the hedges and watch Georgia football. I know you guys are too, whether that's on TV or in person in Sanford Stadium. I think Georgia's going to make the playoff. I'm on record. I think Georgia's going to make the playoff again. I think that this is a playoff roster. I think this is a playoff team, and this is a playoff coaching staff, along with Alabama and Ohio State. It just feels like the three of their paths are too clear. And Georgia and Alabama's path is likely to cross, but if we saw, I didn't mean to shake the camera, sorry. If we saw what happened last year, they collided in the SEC championship, and then they collided in the national championship, and I don't see why that doesn't really happen again this coming season. I'm not buying the hype around these SEC champion sleeper teams like A&M and Tennessee, Kentucky. I'm not buying the hype around those teams. Not enough hype to at least get them to the playoff or even the SEC championship. I think it's going to be Georgia and Alabama again. You guys probably agree with me about that. Let's dissect these two teams a little bit from a roster standpoint. Georgia just lost a lot of players. They just lost 5 first-round defensive players along with a few others. They lost Nakobe Dean, the best linebacker in the country from last year. They lost Trayvon Walker, maybe one of the most talented football players in the country last year. They lost Jordan Davis, one of the most beloved Georgia football players ever. Devontae Wyatt, a workhorse. Quay Walker. On offense, you lose a good blocking tight end in John Fitzpatrick. You lose dynamic playmaker in James Cook. You lose a reliable running back in Zamir White. You lose George Pickens, a game changer. Wasn't really in uniform a lot last year, but we know how much he mattered to the program. So Georgia lost a lot. Alabama didn't lose as much, all right? They're retaining their best players outside of those receivers in Jamison Williams and John Mechie. Replaced one of them with Jermaine Burton, another guy that Georgia lost. On the defensive side of the ball for Alabama, Dallas Turner, the freshman pass rusher from last year, very, very good. A guy that I think is going to break out a little bit this year. And then I think the best defensive player in college football is Will Anderson. I think Jalen Carter is number 2, but Will Anderson is a freak. He really is. And then you return who the best offensive player in college football was last year, the Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young. Listen, I know that most of you guys probably hate Bryce Young, right? Or at least don't like him, don't want to lose to him. He's the truth, man. This is a talented quarterback. I think Bryce Young is the most talented quarterback Alabama's had in recent years, at least in recent years. I think he's better than Tua. I think he's better than Jalen Hurts. I think he's better than Mac Jones. I think he's better than A.J. McCarron. I think he's that good. I've watched enough of Bryce Young to see that he can do things that those guys can't. I think he's a special talent. Do I think he's the greatest quarterback ever? No. But I think, he's the only Alabama quarterback to win the Heisman, and he put up some numbers, and I think he's going to put up those numbers again He's got another good supporting cast. You lose Brian Robinson at running back, all reliable, but you get Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jahmyr Gibbs is really good. We saw what he did at Georgia Tech. Very talented. Obviously, Georgia Tech's not a great program, but he's a great player. And so people are really excited about what Jahmyr Gibbs can do for Alabama. And Jermaine Burton and Ja'Cory Brooks looks to be a pretty good wide receiver tandem, along with returning a lot of your defense. Henry To'oTo'o, one of the better linebackers in the country, middle linebacker, an experienced guy. Apologize for that background noise. I hope that wasn't too bad for you. I'll put my hand in front of the mic. So I think Alabama's gonna be really good. I don't really gamble that much on sports. All right, I'm not doing too much of that. I'm not gonna technically give you gambling advice, but if I had to put my money on it, I'd probably put my money on Alabama. I think the revenge tour makes a lot of sense for Nick Saban, Bryce Young, and Will Anderson. I think their team overall is probably the best, but Georgia's not to be messed with. You return a championship quarterback. You return big pieces on this offense, including A.D. Mitchell and Brock Bowers. You add Eric Gilbert, Kenny McIntosh, and Kendall Milton are for real. The offense is going to be really good again. I think it's going to be better. The defense, probably going to take a step back. You lose all that talent. But you're going to see names like Zion Logue. You're going to see names like Jamon Dumas-Johnson, Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins play really well. And they're not replacements, all right? They're just the next line of Georgia Bulldogs to start. All right, let's not talk about them as replacements. It's not a great way to look at it. It's in college football, you are cycling through players every single year. They're going to the draft, they're graduating, they transfer, whatever. So look at them as just the new line of Georgia Bulldogs, all right? Nolan Smith's return, important. Robert Beal's return, important. You get Keely Ringo back. Christopher Smith's return, important. They're retaining a lot of really good players on the defense. You add some freshman talent that are going to be sprinkled in there. Guys like Michael Williams, guys like Malachi Starks, guys that are going to play some downs, all right? They're not guys that just aren't going to be out there. They're really talented football players. So for Georgia, you're bringing back a really good roster. Ohio State, I think C.J. Stroud's really good too. Now, he's got Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's got Travion Henderson. They've got a good little trio. Probably the best trio in the country, I would say, for quarterback, running back, wide receiver. I don't know if it's close either. We'll see what Bama does. So if you look at Ohio State, their offense is going to be superb. I don't think they're going to have much trouble in the Big Ten this year. I think the Big Ten as a whole might regress a little bit from what it was last year. Michigan's not going to be the same, in my opinion. You lose two phenomenal pass rushers in Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo. But once it's outside of those players, in my opinion, that fourth team is up for grabs. Is it going to be A&M? I don't think so. I don't know what they're doing at quarterback, and I don't think that all those freshmen are really going to help them win that many games. Oklahoma could be pretty good. We'll see what Dylan Gabriel is made of. USC, I guess we shouldn't be that surprised if USC sneaks in to the playoff, because I really think that I'm pretty confident in those three teams making it. Now, things happen. That's why these games are played, but USC, I'm a big Lincoln Riley believer, and I think Caleb Williams is a special talent. We'll see if they can figure it out over in LA, but that fourth spot might be up for grabs. The Pac-12's up for grabs because I just think Oregon's going to have... let's put it this way. Oregon and USC are in transition years with new coaches and new quarterbacks. Dan Lanning, Bo Nix, Lincoln Riley, and Caleb Williams. So if I had to choose one that I think is going to have more success in year one, I think I'm going to go with Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. I think that it's going to translate faster. He's been a head coach. He's been a playoff coach. Dan Lanning has never done that as a head coach. Obviously, he's been a part of the Georgia Bulldogs program. But I've never been a big Bo Nix guy, and I honestly think Oregon starts their season off with a loss to Georgia. So if I had to pick between those guys as someone that could sneak in, I would pick USC, not buying LSU or Florida. Utah's interesting, but I still like USC a little bit better than them. Texas, I'm not buying the Texas hype. I don't think they're back. I don't think Texas is back, and I'll end it on that. I'm going to end it on that. And you guys know I'm not really a big believer in what Clemson's doing right now. Prove me wrong, Dabo. Prove me wrong, DJU or Cade Klubnik, whoever starts. I know you guys are good, but are you going to be good enough to make the playoff? Is the ACC weak enough for you guys to make the playoff is the real question. Georgia's odds, second to Alabama. See you guys at the site dawgpost.com. See you guys on the TikTok at DawgPost. Make sure you're checking out DAWGSTRUCTION. Make sure you're checking out our preview magazine. Brock Bowers on that cover, baby. See ya.